Hi, I'm Stina, and today I'm going to talk about how to dress in cold winter Arctic climate. I'm going to tell you what type of clothes you should wear, what material it should be in the clothes, and what material you should absolutely not wear when it's cold. I live here in the Swedish Lapland at the Arctic Circle in a small town called Jokkmokk, and I, together with my partner Matti, run an outdoor company, and we have 50 dogs that we do dog sled tours in winter time. So I have been taking people with me out on extreme winter conditions since 2004. So I know how important it is to dress correct in winter, and actually how to dress to survive out there when it's like minus 50 Celsius degrees. It's not often it's that cold up here, but it happens, so you need to know what you're doing. So the key to fully enjoy an Arctic experience is to dress properly and dress in many layers of clothes. This doesn't have to mean that you have to spend a fortune on new clothes, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive brands. Many other clothes are good enough, and maybe manage with your clothes you have at home if you dig around in your wardrobe. To dress in many layers is called the layer principle. And layer 1 is the layer that should keep you dry and warm, and what you wear closest to your skin. Here I have to raise my finger and tell you to never ever use cotton closest to your skin. Cotton is actually dangerous to wear close to your skin in cold climate. It absorbs moisture and makes you feel really cold, and it can cause you frostbites if you wear that. And it's the same with some synthetic material. So never ever use cotton closest to your skin, remember that. So closest to your skin, except from your underwear and possible bra. That should of course not be in cotton. Then you use a 2-piece underwear with long legs and long sleeves. The most outstanding material is wool. Underwear in polypropylene or polyester works okay, but it's not at all as good as wool. And polypropylene and polyester absorb some moisture, and it also absorbs sweat odors, so it starts to smell faster than wool do, and it will definitely not keep you as warm as wool. But then you think, well, isn't wool itchy then? Yes and no. If you have a rough, thick wool sweater, this wool is itchy. But the merino wool that you find in most base layers today are really soft and nice. If you have a problem skin like me with, for example, eczema that itches and stuff and can't wear wool closest to your skin, you can wear a long 2-piece underwear of bamboo instead underneath your first layer. That works fine for me, but the bamboo doesn't help for warmth at all, so the best thing is if you could be without it. Layer 2 is the middle layer and should work as an insulation. Depending on how cold it is, layer 2 may consist of multiple layers. So what works best is 1 or more layers of long-sleeved sweaters, pullovers, and pants in fleece or wool. An extra thick wool sweater is also nice to have on top of that, and a lighter insulated jacket like this if it gets really cold. A very good option as a middle layer is to look at the merino wool base layers again. Merino wool garments grades in something called GSM, and GSM stands for grades per square meters. And this means that the higher GSM number a garment has, the thicker and warmer it is. So as a layer 2, you can choose a wool base layer with a high GSM number of 230 gram or higher. I usually wear first layer 1, and then another thicker base layer, a thick jumper with a hood, an extra pair of wool or fleece pants, and a lighter insulated jacket if it's really cold. And then, depending on how warm it is, I can dress off 1 or 2 layers depending on the temperature. When you choose your middle layers, it's important to think about that you choose clothes that are big enough so you fit all the other layers underneath, and it's best if it's not too tight, because if it's too tight it won't insulate so good. Then we come to layer 3, and layer 3 shall protect you from wind, rain and snow, and in cold winter conditions it should also insulate. As the outer layer you could have an insulated pants and a parka, or you can also have a full body snowsuit. The insulation could be either down or synthetic. Down is very lightweight and has a very good insulation rate, but when it gets wet it loses all its insulation abilities. So if you're gonna choose to wear down, you have to make sure it's not gonna get wet of, for example, wet snow or sweat. Because of this, I would say that synthetic insulated clothes are to prefer in most cases. Your layer 3 has to be windproof, and it's important that the top has a hood. And the hood should be generous so it can protect your face from wind and snow. When choosing pants for your outer layer, you can choose an insulated pant, or you can wear a shell pant with an insulated pant underneath. And if you choose that option, it's easier to regulate your heat by taking on or off the insulated pant. And during warmer days in springtime, for example, you can use only the shell pant with 1 or 2 base layers underneath. And again, don't buy too small clothes in your outer layer. Think that you have to fit all the other layers underneath. Layer 4 is a reinforcement layer that should protect you from wind and water during warmer days. This is like a shell jacket. It should be a jacket in a material that is both windproof and breathable, and it doesn't have to be a fancy jacket in high-tech material. During pre-winter you can actually have a jacket in cotton, because then the air is dry, but during March and April you need a jacket that is also water resistant. Then we come to your head and face. To wear a hat in winter is crucial, and the hat needs to be windproof and warm and cover your ears. If you take off your hat, 50% of your body heat disappears. So it's therefore not enough just to have warm clothes on your body, you also need to wear a hat. Both me and Matti most often use a hat in combination with the hood of our wool sweaters. This is because it also protects our necks from the cold, and it gives some extra warmth to our head. Then we come to the face. The face is very exposed because you have your skin straight out in the cold. So to protect your face from frost bites, you need to have something that covers your cheeks and nose. The hat already takes care of your forehead, so I prefer to use a buff in merino wool that I pull up like this. When you breathe, it will get a bit stiff from the frost and your breath, but then it stands by itself, and your breath will give you a warm air pocket between the buff and your skin. Some people prefer to use a balaclava. I don't like it because I don't like things too tight to my face, so I prefer to have the buff. And again, here, these are material you have closest to your skin, so it's really important it's not cotton. Hands and fingers. To keep your hands warm, you also work with layers, and depending on how cold it is, you wear more or less gloves and mittens. Not everyone knows what the difference is between a glove and a mitten, but especially not people like me who don't have English as their native tongue. And so a mitten is one like this, where you have 4 fingers together and your thumb separately, and a glove is like this, where all 5 fingers are separate. Gloves, or I mean mittens, are the absolutely warmest, because then the fingers keep the warmth together. We use gloves when we're actively working with our hands, like harnessing a dog, setting up a tent, or yeah, you're fiddling with your fingers and keep them warm. But when you're driving a dog sled or a snowmobile, we wear mittens. When using gloves, we use different types of working gloves, like these. And very often we also have an extra wool glove inside. For mittens, we use windproof mittens with an extra wool mitten inside. And if it's very cold, we have 2 layers inside the windproof one. So then we have a wool glove, wool mitten, and then the windproof. How about the feet then? Well, the toes are the hardest thing to keep warm, so that is a whole video for itself. And that video I already made, and you find it here. Thank you for watching, and hope you learned something about how to dress in extreme cold. And if you like this video, give it a thumb up, and don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do. Take care. Bye.